Come in, come in. An old man's trembling voice reached my ears. I peeked inside, but it was too dark to see anything clearly. Asterisk a few moments earlier, I had gotten off a government bus, holding my bag. Asterisk it was drizzling, probably raining, non-stop for the past 2 days. Asterisk as I got off the bus, I first adjusted my goggles, then opened my umbrella and held it over my head. Asterisk I tried to shut the bus door, but it creaked loudly and got stuck due to its rusted latch. Asterisk the conductor rang the bell twice with a tug on the rope, signaling the driver. He then yanked the door shut with force. With a loud thud, the door closed and the bus moved on. I am Vicky, but everyone lovingly calls me Vicky. Lovingly, yes lovingly. Asterisk I'm 23 years old, born and raised in the city. By the time I reached college, I realized I had something special. I was extremely good looking. Girls would yearn just to talk to me. Sure, beauty is a gift from God, but certain things like a chiseled body you have to build yourself. Asterisk so I started going to the gym regularly and built a stunning physique with six-pack abs. It wasn't easy. Then comes the most important part, your personality. Asterisk sure, people might get impressed by looks, but your true value is determined by your words. Asterisk you need to know how to weave words, how to trap the prey sweet, calculated talk. Asterisk now, you might wonder why am I telling you all this. Asterisk for pleasure, yes, physical pleasure. Asterisk but I never forced anyone, I never had to. If I decided to trap a girl, I always succeeded. In college, I won many bets with friends by seducing girls. Asterisk oh, the stories from college and from outside are many. Asterisk married women were my weakness. Asterisk young girls are like raw mangoes. Asterisk but women in their 30s, like ripe ones, juicy and full of flavor. Asterisk some of you decent folks might feel disgusted by me. Asterisk but let me tell you a truth. Asterisk you're only decent because you don't have a body like mine or the skill to use it. Asterisk yes, this is an art. It requires patience, finesse and charm. Not everyone can do this. Those who can't act morally upright like the fox calling grapes sour. Asterisk now, I can look into a girl's eyes and tell how far things will go. Asterisk I call it social service. I quench thirst. That's a good deed, right? Asterisk so many young girls and married women's thirsts I've quenched, which is why my college buddies called me Vicky Donor. After college, I got a job at a government bank, but my first posting was in this remote area, not entirely deserted, but more like a jungle, full of trees and not many people. Asterisk how will I survive here? Only God knows, but don't worry, I'll figure something out. The drizzle continued. I walked slowly along the road. I needed a place to stay for the night. Only bushes surrounded me. As I passed under trees, asterisk thankfully, the umbrella kept most of the rain off. The village was a bit inward from the bus stop. I kept glancing back, hoping some bike would come so I could ask for a lift. Asterisk but no vehicle had passed yet. Asterisk looking at the road, it seemed mostly bullock carts had passed. Here deep wheel tracks marked the muddy ground. Asterisk I couldn't understand why build a bank in such a place. Asterisk if people can barely afford food, what will they keep in a bank? It was 6 p.m. Darkness was settling in. Thick clouds loomed above, making it even darker. I kept walking slowly with my bag. Suddenly, I heard the sound of a Bella bullock cart was approaching. Relieved, I turned. A man was riding it, loaded with hay. I approached and stopped him. The man was dark-skinned, with a rough black and white beard. He wore a rain cover shaped like a plastic bag on his head. His red eyes stared at me, silently. Asterisk hello, can I get a lift? I asked. He scanned me from head to toe but said nothing. I mean, can you drop me to the village? I asked again. He nodded slightly. I climbed into the cart after placing my bag. Asterisk without speaking, he yanked the reins and the ball started moving. I tried starting a conversation. I just got a job at the bank here, I said. He didn't respond. His eyes were on the road. His face looked tense. Asterisk, can I find a place to stay for the night? I asked. He looked at me but said nothing again. I went silent. Asterisk ahead. I saw a mansion-like house on the side of the road, like a farmhouse. A large iron gate stood at the entrance. Suddenly, the cart driver whipped the bulls. They ran faster. Asterisk, he seemed restless. Asterisk, as the cart passed the gate, I saw a woman walking from the gate to the house. Asterisk, she was soaked in the rain, wearing a black sari clinging to her figure. Her long wet hair flowed down her youth. Her figure, it was mesmerizing. I couldn't look away. Asterisk, hey, stop the cart, I shouted, eyes still on the woman. Asterisk, The man didn't stop. I tapped his back. Asterisk, stop the damn cart. I yelled. Asterisk, finally. He stopped. I grabbed my bag and jumped down. Asterisk, couldn't you hear me? I snapped. His red eyes stared at me, not angry, but filled with strange pity. I ignored him and walked toward the bungalow. Asterisk, the gate was half open. I peeked inside. Trees lined the path from the gate to the house, but the woman was gone. Asterisk, I was determined. At least I had to see her face. I slowly walked ahead and reached the bungalow's door. Peered in. Asterisk, come in, come in. That same trembling old voice echoed. It was dark. I stepped inside. Heavy rain poured behind me. Asterisk, inside, lit by candles, an old man sat in a rocking chair. He was repulsive, just a doty on his wrinkled, sagging skin. Asterisk, no hair, sunken cheeks, no teeth. Asterisk, a bottle of liquor sat beside him. Tequila, vodka, my favorite. He gestured for me to sit. I'm new here. Is it okay if I stay for the night? I asked. He laughed, a sick, gurgling laugh. Yes, just tonight, he said, and drank. Most of it spilled down his chin. I'd never seen such a disgusting laugh in my life, but I pretended to smile. Then, suddenly, he said, Asterisk, you want her too, don't you? I was stunned. He leaned in, his face close to mine. Asterisk, want to taste her? He asked darkly. Asterisk, was he talking about alcohol? I wasn't sure. Then he leaned back and yelled, Ma Mohini. The name sent a shiver down my spine. The same woman, the one whose glimpse had bewitched Maya, was finally going to see her up close. Sound of anklets approached. She came standing in front of me, her mendie-covered feet, her drenched black sari clinging to her body, her navel, her soft pink lips, her glowing blue eyes. I was entranced. This is Mohini. My wife, said the old man suddenly. His words struck me like lightning. She was his wife. Asterisk, he looked at her, then at me. Show sir to his room, he said, and chuckled. She walked inside. I followed. Asterisk, she climbed the stairs. I was right behind, eyes fixed on her swaying hips. Asterisk, she opened a room. I entered. Asterisk, I asked, is he really your husband? She nodded. But can a dried up old well quench your thirst? I teased. She looked at me confused at first. Then with mild irritation, I asked, where's your room? I mean, in case I get thirsty. She paused, then pointed silently to the next room. As she walked away, she turned, her lips curled into a faint smile. I grinned. Green signal. I poured myself a drink and stood by the window. Rain poured. Jungle surrounded me, but all I could see was Mohini later. There was a knock. She stood at the door. She entered, sat near me, her lips touched mine. I was in heaven, but later that night, I woke up. She wasn't on the bed. She stood by the window, trembling violently. I called her name, no response. Suddenly, I heard growling like a wild animal. I turned. Another Mohini was behind me. Her eyes were red, her body trembling. Asterisk, her neck twisted unnaturally. I woke up with a scream. What a terrifying dream. But my body felt too weak to get up. I looked out. Asterisk, a woman was digging in the garden, pouring soil over something. My vision blurred. I rubbed my eyes. My hand looked wrinkled. Old-eyed. Rushed to a mirror. An old man stared back at me. Had aged overnight. I stumbled downstairs. The old man's chair was empty. Asterisk, I sat there, gasping. At the door stood Mohini. She walked to me, laughed. I cried. What have you done to me? I shouted weakly. Asterisk, she just smiled, brushed her hair, and walked away. She looked younger than ever. She had stolen my youth. Asterisk, I looked at the tequila vodka bottle. I poured it. Most of it spilled. I heard his voice echo, peace, rest, bliss. Know where it is, in death. No, he hadn't died. He was freed. Asterisk, and now, I waited for someone to free me. A few days later, another young man stood at the door, soaked in the rain. He must have come for Mohini. Asterisk, seeing him, I smiled. Asterisk, come in, come in. Come in, come in. My trembling voice reached the young man standing at the door. He looked startled, drenched from the rain, bag in hand. He stepped inside slowly, dripping water on the old wooden floor. I smiled faintly, as much as my now shrunken muscles would allow. Asterisk, he looked around, curious, yet hesitant. Maybe he sensed something was off. But lust blinds, and Mohini, she was designed for blindness. He stood in the same spot I had once stood. I could see the same questions brewing in his eyes. Asterisk, who was she? Where did she go? Why was that body so intoxicating? And just like it had happened to me, it happened again. The sound of anklets. Asterisk, slow, rhythmic, echoing against the wooden walls like a melody straight from hell. She descended the stairs, her black sari clinging to her glowing youthful body, her skin like milk, eyes like blue fire. That seductive sway, that familiar hunger in her gaze. But this time, she was even more radiant because she had fed recently, on me. The young man, hypnotized, forgot all hesitation. He greeted her. She didn't respond, only gestured to follow. I wanted to scream, don't. Go, run, she'll take everything from you. But no sound left my mouth, only a breathless wheeze. Because I was part of the house now. They disappeared into the upper floor. I sat there, rocking slowly, just as the old man once did. I remembered. His words now. Rest, peace, bliss, you'll find it in death. But I hadn't found peace, I had found eternal waiting. That night, through the cracked ceiling above, I heard muffled sounds. Laughter, whispers, a kiss. Then, much later, the first scream. Short, then silence. It had begun. The next morning, the boy was not the same. He descended the stairs slowly, rubbing his eyes. His face already had a faint line across the forehead. His back was slightly bent. He didn't notice me sitting just beside the fireplace. No one does. He stumbled toward the kitchen. He called out for Mohini, but she was gone. That's how it always begins. Confusion, weakness, then the realization. Later that day, I saw him staring into the mirror, touching the crow's feet forming near his eyes. Shocked, panicked. By evening, he cried, just as I had. By night, he sat on the same rocking chair, same bottle on the table, same glass, half the drink dripping down his lips. And as he sat there in his misery, I, invisible to him, whispered softly in his ears, welcome to your new life. Once again, the trembling voice echoed from inside the mansion. This time, the young man standing at the door was different. Tall, lean, ordinary looking. Yet there was something unusual in his eyes. A strange depth, like he could feel things most people couldn't. His name was Arjun. He stood at the door, peering in. The wind howled. The rain poured. But the gate, as always, remained half open. Without saying a word, he stepped inside. I am now just a shadow. My body remains slumped on the old rocking chair, but my soul roams freely inside this cursed house. I've seen many men come and fall consumed by her beauty, and destroyed by it, but Arjun, he was different. The way he looked around straight up at the ceiling as if he already knew everything. Is this the place? Arjun murmured. Is this the house where men grow old overnight, and Mohini keeps getting younger? A shiver ran through my soul, he knows. From below came the familiar raspy voice. You too have come for Mohini. Arjun smiled, but his smile wasn't lustful, it was calm, calculating. I didn't come here to be with Mohini, he said. I came to set her free. Until now, I had believed that everyone who came to this house was a victim. But Arjun, he was something else. A hunter, perhaps, or maybe a spiritual warrior. Mohini descended the staircase slowly. She was just as beautiful, just as seductive. Any other man would have fallen to his knees, but Arjun didn't flinch, not even a blink. He simply said, I want to hear your story. Mohini, the truth. Mohini's eyes sparkled, but this time, not blue, deep black. She whispered, you truly want to know? Arjun nodded. And for the first time, Mohini spoke. I was once human, just like you. My real name wasn't Mohini, I was Rajlakshmi, queen of this village. In 1837, I fell in love with a servant. When the king found out, he buried me alive right beneath this mansion. My last word was freedom. But the fire of revenge burned so fiercely within me. I couldn't move on. Every beauty, every charm that you now see, it's not mine, it belongs to the men I drained to stay young. She looked into Arjun's eyes. Now it's your turn. Arjun chuckled quietly, but with power. He pulled out a black threaded talisman from his pocket. No, Mohini, now it's your turn to finally be free.